What's up, guys? This is Genetic Minority bringing you my Royal Rumble. As I adjust my screen and you probably hear a noise, my Royal Rumble results review, whatever you want to call it. I'm not particularly happy, as most people probably aren't. My notes aren't particularly long, so we'll just cut the foreplay, go straight into it. Royal Rumble opens up with New Age Outlaws versus the Ascension. Solid match. It was a pretty decent match. You know, the Ascension, they're not really going to be helped by this match in any way, shape, or form, I don't think. Beating New Age Outlaws is, yes, it's a thing, but I think the only way for them to continue this would be to go on and beat, you know, NWO, go on to beat APA, go on. They'd pretty much have to beat DX in a legitimate match, and they'd have to somehow find a way to build on their current, I guess, their victory, this current success, because they're not over, and they probably really won't be after tonight. But it was a solid match. It was short, sweet, to the point. Nothing out of control, nothing crazy. Nice opening match with a decent little pop for New Age Outlaws. Yeah, that's that. You know, the Ascension come out with the victory. They hit them with that weird finisher I don't know the name of. I apologize for not knowing it. But yeah, so the Ascension win. We'll see what they have planned for them ahead of time. I'm hoping that for their sake they're facing other, like, you know, kind of old school tag teams, and eventually that may lead to maybe, as like, I want to say, it's not going to be Mania. I doubt it. They wouldn't put them in this kind of spot at Mania with so much other stuff going on. But I don't know, some pay-per-view in the future they get a chance to face off against DX, maybe after they grab the titles and, you know, hold them for a while, if they even get them at this point. You know, they don't have really a lot of groundswell behind them. Moving on, next we get a segment backstage that I just thought was mildly interesting. It's Paul Heyman offering the Authority to help with their Sting problem, saying that when they had a John Cena problem, the answer was Brock Lesnar. The triple threat match that's a problem for Paul Heyman, his solution is Brock Lesnar. And that for the Authority's Sting problem, they should get Brock Lesnar. So, I don't know what that means, especially at the end of the night, or after the triple threat main event was finished. I'm not sure what that means as a whole. It might have just been a thing. We'll see what happens. It's more than likely going to be the Vigilante versus God at Mania. And maybe he might have a hand in costing Bork the title, but, you know, we'll see what happens. I'm mildly interested. Next, we got, and excuse me if I missed some stuff, because it really wasn't much, and I didn't see the pre-show, so there wasn't much to this pay-per-view too, but it wasn't terrible for the most part. The matches on here were all played out fine. I know earlier in the night Tyson Kidd beat one of the New Baptist Church. He beat Kofi Kingston from the New Baptist Church, and that's cool. Tyson Kidd getting a win over the New Baptist Church. I hate the faction of the New Day. I like Tyson Kidd and I like Cesaro. Wish WWE do more with them, but they're not gonna. Same thing, they're not gonna do anything with Kofi Kingston. Everyone was super hyped to see how Kofi Kingston would avoid getting eliminated tonight. It was lame. Spoilers. It was super lame. There really isn't much for him to do. I think just from now on he should either win one or just never be in another Rumble, because there's no more ways for him to, I can see, for him to not get eliminated other than like standing on like Big Show or Khali's back, you know, something like that. You know, something weird. They should just bring back John Morrison and have those two like go at it to see who won't get eliminated. I think that'd be an interesting thing to do for next year's Rumble, especially the way this Rumble went. But moving on, after Paul Heyman offers his help to the Authority, we get Mizdow versus the Usos. I say Mizdow just because it's the Miz and Damien Sandow. He's really his own man at this point. He's way better than the Miz in terms. I mean, not better. The Miz is great at playing the heel. He's over. He's far more over as a face than the Miz as a heel. But the Miz is over as a heel though, especially when he's interacting with Damien Mizdow. But unfortunately, I think once those two separate, you'll see a decline in the Miz, and you'll see this kind of Zack Ryder-ish groundswell, you know, / Fandango groundswell behind Damien Mizdow, and it just won't last, which is unfortunate because I like Damien Sandow, the wrestler, and I would hope he gets some decent groundswell, maybe even some titles in his future, some mid-card titles, maybe one world title. one or two. He could be really good. He's a fun, interesting guy. So yeah, we got Mizdow versus the Usos for the tag titles. Everyone played their role perfect. I didn't see anything wrong with the match, especially as it was set up later on. Even more so. Curious to see how it pans out tomorrow night. But yeah, everyone played their role to a T. The Miz was a heel who wouldn't tag in Mizdow, which the Mizdow was the face that he was super over. The crowd got super hyped for him. Thank God for that Philly crowd being very smart. Way better than Tulsa, Oklahoma. I still hate that place. And the Usos were a face tag team. They did their jobs, Of course, obviously, Miz playing the heel. His ultimate downfall was not tagging in Mizdow, who, unlike most times, would be like outside the ring mimicking being knocked out like how the Miz is. Instead, he's coming in the ring and he's stopping, breaking up potential pins. And the Miz putting some work in the ring too. He's great heel work. But at the end, ultimately saw, of course, the Miz being the heel and not wanting to tag Mizdow in. It cost him the match, and it was kind of a little bit weird just because simply Mizdow just didn't come in the ring and stop the final pin, which I just thought was weird. And I guess they're just going to try to play it up as, like, he didn't want to come and help the Miz because the Miz wouldn't tag him in. But it looks weird, just as the flow, it just looked weird to me. But nevertheless, it wasn't bad. The right team won. The right feud is getting set up. Probably going to get Miz versus Mizdow at Mania. Hold on a second. I swore I heard a knocking, but whatever. I'm not cutting this part out. Next, we get Paige and Natty Neidhart versus the Bellas. It's an okay match. Once again, everyone played their role perfect. Paige never really got into the match. It was mostly Natty versus the Bellas, which kind of sucks. Just because you don't get a chance to see Paige in the ring, but they wanted a lot of time. They gave him a fair amount of time. I at least want to say like at least 5 minutes, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I should probably get ask Solomonster what his timer was on the match. But nevertheless, it was okay. Nothing to write home about, but nothing to pan by critics, anything like that. It was a decent Divas tag match. It was interesting to not have the Divas title on the line and instead have a tag match. The Bellas win. I don't remember how the match went. It was an okay match. I didn't hate it or anything like that. Which is basically the rhyme of the beginning part of the show with, New Age Outlaws and the Ascension, Miz, Mizdow, and now Paige and the Bellas, or Paige and Natty versus the Bellas. All three of those opening matches were okay. The New Baptist Church versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd was cool. It was a decent match. So all the first opening matches were okay for the most part. Not necessarily what I call pay-per-view quality, but at least Monday Night Raw worthy matches. And they were good set up to what would be the I'm lapsing in memory. The next match, which came like out of nowhere, but you never really think about it until it's happening. But the Rumble is actually a relatively long match. Next, we get Cena versus Bork versus Rollins, which once again is just surprising that it seemed like every other match was, one, gonna be overshadowed by it, but two, it seemed like everyone's match it went by quick. Maybe I missed something. I think it's just because I didn't watch the pre-show, but I mean, I didn't watch the whole pre-show because I know they do a lot of talking and whatnot too. But yeah, no, that was it came out of nowhere for me. But the most important part of this match is this match was done probably pitch perfect. I mean, everything felt in the right place at the right time. The right guy won in the right way. Even though it kind of sucks because Seth Rollins had to be, like Chase and I said for weeks beforehand, the fall guy in this match. Everything felt right. In fact, it was a 5-star match in my mind, and it definitely saves the pay-per-view from what would have been just a mediocre / lower score. We'll talk about why it would have got lower in a minute. But the match was was almost pitch perfect. It was pitch perfect. I can't find any fault with it. The match opens up and just Bork is just dominating. He's dominating everybody. He's hitting everyone with German suplexes. He's beating everybody down. He's hitting F5s. He kicks out at a 1 count after an attitude adjustment. Well, it was Seth Rollins who pinned him, so you could argue that it doesn't really matter. But he out Super Cena, and that was out of control. Because the fact of the matter is nobody out Super Cena, and he kicked out at a 1. He ate like 3 curb stomps and an attitude adjustment in a row. Still kicked out at 2. I mean, this match, Brock Lesnar was like the Terminator. Like, nothing could stop him. He's unstoppable, killing machine, just intent on keeping the WWE Championship. And like they were saying, he was in pretty good shape. He was looking like he was in good shape. Who knows what he's going to look like come Mania time, or how good a shape he's going to be in, because he's going to keep just getting more and more in shape. Hopefully he gets a tan. He looked more tanned up tonight, or more red tonight. I think it's because he was putting in work in the ring. But he's been pale as of weeks, but I think it's just because he lives in like that weird tundra in Canada. Yeah, dude, the whole beginning part of this match, just Brock. I mean, he double German suplexes J&J Security. He German suplexes Cena. He German suplexes Seth. And eventually it comes to the point where Seth and Cena are trying to eliminate Brock out of the match just so they can fight each other. So it was good, if not great, storytelling for one, showcasing that the Brock Lesnar is a beast and dominant, and it almost makes you forget about, and I don't forget just because I don't like it and it sticks in my mind. It almost makes you forget that he was like losing matches to Triple H and he lost that match to Cena in his return, because he's just so dominant, and it really makes you feel like he's not going to lose the title until he's just puts it down and leaves. Obviously, we know he is, and that's irritating just because of how the Rumble went. But I keep dwelling on that. I'll talk about this match. So Brock's just dominating the whole beginning part of the match. Eventually, Cena and Rollins start to put the work in on him, and J&J Security's coming in. If actually for once J&J Security didn't seem like they were completely unnecessary or annoying, they seemed super necessary to beat this like monster that they built Brock to be in this match. Basically fighting, if you count J&J Security, 4-on-1 and just freaking dominating. But eventually Cena starts getting offensive. By the way, the crowd, Philly is such a smart crowd. At least tonight they were. At least they've been keeping up on their internet. Maybe the crowd's full of guys from IWC. They just booed Cena every time Cena got offense in. And unfortunately, the only thing that kills this match was Cena's constant stupid smirk on his face. God, he's like that 2003 version of the parody of the 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where they just constantly have those stupid smiles plastered all over their face. If anybody's seen this movie, the cartoon special Turtles Forever, which features like the 2003 Ninja Turtles meeting with the 1987 Ninja Turtles, where like the 1987 Ninja Turtles are like this weird jacked up parody that are constantly have these goofy smiles on their faces, and no matter how like much you distinguish their characters, like Michelangelo's the fun one, Leonardo's the leader, Raphael's the angry one, Donatello is the smart one, they all are the same goofy looking stupid smile on their face character. And that's what John Cena is. He comes out and he's just smiling. If he just never feels like he's taking anything serious, and I know he's not, and I could complain about it forever because I hate it, but hey, whatever. Cena not taking this match serious doesn't kill it, it just doesn't make me happy to see it. But so eventually, I don't even remember how it happened because the match is just out of control. Cena spears Brock through. I mean, like, Seth Rollins just leaps off the ropes, and he's kneeing Brock in the head and just doesn't phase Brock. He goes again for another like knee leap. Brock catches him in midair, hits him with an F5. I'm talking Cesaro picking up Sami Zayn type of strength. Eventually Cena gets Brock on top of the Spanish announce table. Rest in peace, Spanish announce table. And Seth Rollins hits the mean body splash through the announce table. And there we get we're being told by the announce team, who actually were doing a decent job calling this match until a certain spot where I know they're not allowed to call out the names of movers, but I wish they did. He goes to the announce table. We're being told by the announce team that he had a broken rib, so he's like knocked out. Brock is knocked out for like a good maybe 10 minutes of this match, and he's just out. Like, he's just laid out on the ground, no movement from him. Paramedics, probably even screaming for paramedics, and it's Cena versus Rollins, and Cena versus Rollins is out of control. They did not want Cena to look like John Cena. I mean, this match, they did everything to make sure that we didn't think Cena was going to Super Cena the night, or that Cena didn't not only not look like it, but I mean, at the end of it, you can't go. There was a point where it's like, oh, this is the part where it looks like Cena's going to Super Cena. Like, in the match, you could say that, but not after the match. You'd be like, well, I mean, they even went as far as to have Seth Rollins kick out of an AA at 2, like not like a 2. He kicked out of an AA after, I think he was already hit with an F. Yeah, he was already hit with an F5 at that point. Just escaped from a STF. He gets hit with an AA and kicks out, and you're just like, phew. That was the tipping point in the match where you were like, so Cena can't win because he's just been out Super Cena'd by the 2 other men in this match. But moving on, eventually Seth gets the upper hand on Cena and is beating him down, hitting him with super kicks, and he doesn't ever hit him with a curb stomp, I don't think. I'm trying to remember, and I can't go back and watch it right now. But he eventually knocks Cena out. I think it's with a super kick. And he goes for, and this is the part where I hate that the commentary table can't really call out moves, because it's just as beautiful as when I saw it in ROH for the first time. I mean, he hits this beautiful, almost pitch perfect, other than his like landing is a little bit off simply because of where his arms are. Beautiful Tyler Black-esque. For all of you who don't know, Seth Rollins used to be Tyler Black in ROH and out in the Indies. He hits, and he used to use this move as his finisher, and the super kick was one of his like signature moves. He used to call it the Avada Kedavra after Harry Potter. Shout out to Voldemort. He hits this beautiful Phoenix Splash on Cena, and as soon as he hits him, Brock's not even looking at the ring. The crowd he hears the crowd get hype. He hops up like the Undertaker without a moment's notice, goes in the ring, German suplexes Seth, German suplexes Cena. Cena's out the ring. Seth, he's got some back and forth going with Seth. Seth eventually picks up the Cena at one point had picked up both members of J&J Security and AA them. Because they're both like cruiserweight guys. They both weigh like 200 pounds, I think, at the most. But Cena, Brock gets Cena up out of there. He's going one-on-one with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins takes the briefcase, bashing him over the head with it, beats him like 3 times over the head with it, goes to go curb stomp him on top of the briefcase. You're like, he might win it. Nope. He jumps up in the air. Brock catches him mid curb stomp. F5. Seth Rollins sells death like Dolph Ziggler never could, or Dean. And 1, 2, 3, Brock leaves as WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And I think this match was basically to shut people up who were like, Brock isn't, there all the time. Or, and there, some people say like he'll get rusty in the ring, not being in the ring for like 3-4 months straight. And he just dominated. Like, Brock Lesnar is clearly just an athlete. It's plain and simple. Brock Lesnar, Bork Lesnar, whatever you want to call him, is an athlete and powerful. And he dominated this match. Even when he was eliminated, the match still ran fine, and he popped back into the match, and he just immediately stole the show on it again. So I mean, it was perfect in my mind. It was the best way they could have did it with the things that they had put into place. It sucks that Seth doesn't get to leave champ, and he had to be the fall guy, because when you put him in this match, it makes it very obvious that he's going to be the fall guy for either Cena or Brock. But on the flip side, everyone looked good in this match, even Cena, even though he had that stupid cornbuck smile on his face a chunk of the time. Everyone looked strong in this match. Seth looked strong. I mean, taking 2 F5s, AA being trapped in, STF. He looks strong. He definitely looks like he's going to be part of the future. Unfortunately, tonight WWE has decided they'd rather invest in a different part of the future. But Seth was on point. Cena, if he had kept a serious face, would have been 100% on point. Instead, he's like 75-80% on point. That stupid smiling while the crowd's booing him really irritates me. Because he didn't do it to Punk. Don't do it to Brock and Seth. And Brock Lesnar looked like freaking Terminator. Just search and destroy. Not to, he's like the Undertaker. It's like he stole the Undertaker's soul by beating him. It was out of control. So, in terms of in that match, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna separate all the matches away from the Rumble, because all the stereotypical matches. If you take out the Rumble, which obviously it's the Royal Rumble. If you take out the Rumble and say this was like, just the pay-per-view card, and that was to bookend the show, I give this pay-per-view, I guess, to make the scale seem mildly more meaningful. The matches were all worked well. All the right people went over in the right ways, and the main event, well, not the main event, the title match was perfect. Give this pay-per-view like 8, almost 9 out of 10. It was almost perfect. But this pay-per-view does not get an 8 out of 10. It does not get a 9 out of 10. In my mind, it doesn't even deserve a 7 out of 10, but that Bork Cena Rollins match was pretty on point. And with the kind of garbage they've been giving us with Cena and Bork, this was a welcome change and, a good match. A really good match. So, we get now to the Royal Rumble. Now, everyone has been calling it for weeks. No spoilers here. Everyone knew Roman Reigns was going to win the whole thing. But a lot of speculation was tossed in the air with Daniel Bryan returning. And that is where this Rumble really gets the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and the Rumble match itself really goes down the toilet, is when it comes down to Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan. Let me say this, that I am a huge fan of Daniel Bryan. Was a fan of him in ROH, all his indie stuff. He's great. I don't hate Roman Reigns or anything like that. Like, I harbor no ill will towards him. His time will come, but he doesn't, as I mess around on my phone, his time will come, but it doesn't necessarily need to be now. He doesn't really have, I don't even think he has a singles title under his belt. I guess the Rumble was the Rumble was a way to get himself a singles accolade. Seth has Money in the Bank. Dean is the only one to grab a singles title, and so Roman Reigns being the Rumble winner / being the guy that eliminated the most in a single match was a way of getting him his own singles accolade, which is cool. I could live with that. There's not a lot of ways to say this. I'm gonna put it as plainly as possible. This Rumble is the second time they've managed to ruin the Rumble by what they did / didn't do with Daniel Bryan. I know. Listen, Daniel Bryan, just hear me out. Daniel Bryan did not need to win. What they did, though, in this Rumble with Daniel Bryan was terrible. Having him be eliminated so early works for one way and botches the other. But I'll get to that when I get to that. We get the Royal Rumble, and before I completely get sidetracked, we do get some interesting things. We get Bubba Ray returning, which was super weird. We open up the Rumble with R-Truth and The Miz, and Bubba Ray is number 3. He comes in. He's got the glasses on and everything. He looks good in the ring. I wish he could somehow still pull off a little bit of a career or a little bit more of a career. We didn't get Devon, spoilers. What we did get is Devon stand-in, which was R-Truth. Apparently, Bubba Ray can just work with any black guy, and it's cool. Because he did the 3D, he did the headbutt to the groin. He screamed, "Get the tables," but they never got any tables. I wish they would have got one. I mean, it's The Miz. And we're going to get at some point later, at a point later, you see Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt are, you don't see, Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt go through the middle rope, so it would have been fine for them to just leave the ring and go grab a table. I mean, you're already going to push the boundaries of what's right and wrong in this Rumble, so why not? You know, if you're going to go that far, have them 3D him through a table. But it was cool. Devon got a nice, not Devon, sorry, Bubba Ray got a nice little pop, and R-Truth got to pretend to be a successful black guy in professional wrestling. So that's a thing. But then Bray comes in and he just starts dominating the Rumble. He gets 6 eliminations of them. That includes Luke Harper, Boogeyman, and Bully Ray. I can't call him Bully Ray because I like the name Bully better than Bubba. And he eliminates, I believe it's Luke Harper, R-Truth, Bully Ray, Boogeyman, and I know Curtis Axel gets screwed in this Rumble, and he still technically is in it. Technically Curtis Axel is still in the Rumble, and I would love it if he just showed up on Monday, like, you know, coming tomorrow night and was like, "I deserve to be in the Rumble," and asking for a match with Roman Reigns, because he never got a chance to come in at number 6. He comes in and Eric Rowan just beats him down and doesn't let him get in the match. Eric Rowan was never in the match. He just gets in there to disrupt Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt being in there, and Bray Wyatt tosses Luke Harper and Eric Rowan both over the top rope. But it doesn't matter because he only technically eliminates Luke Harper. But yes, Bray is dominating until Daniel Bryan comes in, and that's when the match starts to slow down. We get our, you know, the workers in the match, like, you know, Stardust and Goldust and Rusev and Swagger and jeez, what's that boy's name? Tyson Kidd comes in, you know, but Daniel Bryan is, for all intents and purposes, on a hot streak, and it, you know, it's how it looks, like how it should look. The Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt, you know, Roman and Dean and Big Show and Kane, obviously, because for storyline purposes, are going to be some of the last guys in the Rumble. And I was fully aware that Daniel Bryan was more than likely going to be eliminated, if not, you know, just, you know, who's going to be eliminated and not win the Rumble. I was fully aware that Roman Reigns was winning this year's Rumble. That's just a fact. WWE was going to throw a swerve at us because they're too lazy and we predicted all their swerves. But Daniel Bryan comes in. He's on this crazy streak. He's beating down Rusev and Wyatt, and he randomly, just out of nowhere, gets eliminated by Bray Wyatt. Now, what I said earlier was that this helps in one way, but ruins in another. In one way, it does make Bray Wyatt, and this makes me happy, it does make Bray Wyatt a legitimate heel. People will hate him the same way they hated Batista. You know, like, he will no longer now kind of get like cheers or nothing. People will boo him now simply because he eliminated Daniel Bryan from the Rumble. And the same way people cheered, it turned, you know, doing what he did can turn his entire career around. Can. May not, but it can. And that's awesome. On the flip side is that him getting eliminated so early, so randomly, and I had tweeted at Chase about how I thought at least they would let Daniel Bryan, you know, break the Rey Mysterio record for the longest time spent in the Rumble. You know, I just thought he'd be in it for a while, maybe not win it, but just be in it for a while and break that record. But they didn't do that. Him getting eliminated so early, so randomly, completely turned the crowd on the Rumble for the second year in a row. Last year was not having him in it. This year it was having him eliminated. And I don't know if they did that simply because they know it's going to get him the same thing it did last time, which is like hella amounts of yes chance. But the problem is that he now has... He was eliminated by Bray, but we've already seen him feud with Bray. So he doesn't really... And he can't lose to Bray, really. And Bray can't lose to him if you want... These two really can't be in a match with each other if you want either one of them to succeed going into Mania. I mean, so you put both of them in a really awkward spot, and yeah, you'll get a lot of people who cheer for Daniel Bryan, and but the Authority's in the middle of this whole Sting thing, and now apparently they're gonna stick their nose into this Roman Reigns thing, and it's all weird and all jacked up, and it doesn't make any sense. If we had Daniel Bryan get eliminated later by like Roman Reigns, then clearly there's no beef, but you still don't. I mean, like, having Daniel Bryan in this match throws a monkey wrench because he has nothing to do now that he's back, and the fan base has turned. Daniel Bryan's their guy. The fact that he was coming back made him the guy again. But anyway, the crowd turns on the Rumble. I turn on the Rumble. I don't really care because it's super predictable at this point. Everything about the booking in this Rumble after Daniel Bryan's elimination is off. One, Big E was in the match for like freakishly long for just being a jobber. He was in there for a while. Kofi Kingston, he does eventually get eliminated by, I believe it's not Rusev. Kofi Kingston's elimination save is that he gets saved by the Rosebuds, which, one, that's irritating because I hate Adam Rose, and two, he legit, it's not like a thing where it's like he utilizes any kind of skill or like a small amount of skills plus some luck. It's just all luck. It's just the fact that the Rosebuds happen to be standing there and catch him and then walk him back over to the ring instead of just dropping him on the ground, like how Adam Rose, being a heel at this point, probably would have told them. So it doesn't make any sense. Only to just be like eliminated immediately. Usually he can stay in the match for a little while, but so there was no star power in this Rumble. And once they got down to the end guys, it's like, who cares? Who cares who wins? We all know it's going to be Roman Reigns, so that's predictable and boring too. That it's like the movie Monsters University. It's like, why would I want to watch this when I know what the result is? Like in Monsters University, you spend the whole time with the one-eyed guy, I can't remember his name for life, he's played by Billy Crystal. He's trying to become the top scarer at their college, but you're watching this movie knowing it's a prequel and that he'll never be the top scarer that Mike Wazowski is, and and it's just like depressing to watch because you're like, well, he's not going to be the top, it's going to be Mike Wazowski, we know that already. Same thing as in this Rumble. It's like people started to cheer for Dean. I don't know why, there was just a loud banging in my house. People started to cheer for Dean when he came in. People were cheering for different guys, but none of that mattered because we all knew Mike Wazowski, Roman Reigns, Cockfist, was gonna win. So why waste our time getting hype about it? There's no reason. There's no rhyme or reason to do so. So the end of this match saw it doesn't even matter at this point. Dean and Roman, who all of a sudden now remember each other. They haven't noticed each other forever since the Shield broke up, or whatever. They're brothers again. And Kane and Big Show. By the way, Kane broke the record for the most eliminations of all time in a single career. Good for him, I guess. I don't care. And Big Show exists. He broke the top 5 most eliminations of all time. He broke into the top 5, I guess. I don't know / care. It's the Big Show, and I don't care. And the crowd's just booing this match. Eventually, Dean gets eliminated by Big Show and Kane. So people really, like, the crowd was so visceral, so like foaming at the mouth, booing. I thought Rey Mysterio got knocked down a couple pegs by coming in 30 last year, but you end the Rumble with, mind you, at this point, Rusev has only been thrown through like the middle rope, so he's not technically out, which is super annoying because it's once again that Mike Wazowski moment where you're like, he's not going to win, so why'd they even do this bit where they throw him through the middle rope? But eventually, Roman Reigns gets the upper hand. No, he doesn't get the upper hand. He gets beat down by, no, he does, sorry. I'm getting mixed up in my head. He eventually gets the upper hand on Big Show and Kane after they start to kind of get at each other's throats. Eliminates both of them. The match isn't over, and I totally thought it was. They come back, Big Show and Kane come back in the ring, they start beating him down, only to have, and although Roman gets saved by this, the show doesn't, Roman to be saved by The Rock. Because they're cousins or whatever. Nobody cares. If The Rock came in number 30, I think it would have been even worse. But, yeah, I mean, to have Roman win with The Rock coming in at 30. Dolph Ziggler came in at 30, no one cares. And yeah, they eventually both get the good beat down on Kane and Big Show. Rock leaves the ring, tells Roman to finish the job. He throws Rusev over the top rope, wins. Crowd boos. Even The Rock couldn't save Roman Reigns from the jeers, just the absolute ire, the loathing of the WWE Universe in Philadelphia. We got CM Punk chants tonight. That's a sign that no one cares. They don't care and they hate you. They want you to hear CM Punk and let WWE know exactly how big of failures they are. But of course, Vince won't listen. It's the Roman Reigns era. And he's gonna quote "make it rain in this bitch" or something, whatever he says. He's something stupid, and it's just out of control. OD. But on the flip side, we do get The Rock back, and he's mouthing off with God on the ramp. God and Stephanie McMahon come out, and they're mouthing off with Roman. Roman's pointing at the WrestleMania sign. We get the fireworks, and the crowd just boos. You can't break. The Authority is just like coming out. The Rock's out there. It looks like maybe we might even get Rock versus Triple H at some point. Crowd doesn't care. And unfortunately, with Roman Reigns having like no love, a lot of casual fans pick up on things like that, and they will boo Roman, which means it honestly looks like Bork might be going into Mania the face. I mean, the crowd cheered him, and yeah, he's a bad guy, and WWE's going to keep trying to push him as a bad guy, keep trying to push Roman as a good guy. But I mean, suffice to say, he's like no. I mean, the Mania crowd is gonna hopefully. Mania crowd's usually pretty smart, and the Mania crowd after is even smarter. And it looks like Cena might. I mean, not Cena. Bork might just have to go into this one a face, and unfortunately, this means now that Cena is gonna face Rusev instead of Ryback, which sucks because I don't want to see Cena beat Rusev and win the U.S. title, or just end his undefeated / he's never been pinned or something. He's probably gonna make him tap out or hit him with a super AA, which is super irritating. I don't want to see Cena versus Rusev. I don't want to see Cena beat Rusev. I don't want to see Cena at Mania. I don't want to see Cena at Mania at all. I know you need to have him there, but no. I mean, I might not even watch Mania this year, honestly. I mean, you have Bork versus Roman, with things are all flip flopped. Seth is gonna cash in on Roman and win and hold the title, but like it throws everything up in the air. This Royal Rumble match is the second year in a row they managed to botch a Mania it up and throw every single main event all up in the air, and the future or the following pay-per-view calendar year up in the air with like who's gonna be champion, who's gonna be challenging, what are the ratings gonna look like. And this year they don't have Undertaker to fall back on. They don't have the streak to fall back on because they ended it because Vince McMahon's an idiot. So with that being said, I'm gonna cut this one shorter than normal, or shorter than most of the Monday Night podcast. Tell me what you think in the comments section. Tell me if you care, if you don't care. Give me a like, subscribe if you want. Follow me on Twitter. I love interaction. I really do appreciate it when people comment in my videos and when people tweet at me and things like that. So yeah, go follow me on Twitter and sub, or at least comment in the comment section. Even if you don't want to sub to me, just comment in the comment section. Say what you thought about the show. Hold on a second. Let me give a shout out to, and he's on Twitter, Declan Byrne on Twitter. He's a fan of mine that is very interactive, which I appreciate. Because I want to start doing Q&As and things like that, and I want to get some of my fans into podcasts with me on like nights like this where I'm just doing the pay-per-view alone, and going about it. And I want to make this a more kind of like, not necessarily fan heavy, but like very like interactive channel. So yeah, follow me, like this video. It helps me, get my name out there. Tell your friends, don't tell your friends. Tell your parents, don't tell your parents. Show it to somebody late at night. I don't care what you do. But yeah, overall, I give this pay-per-view, when you add the Rumble into it and how, in terms of someone who thinks about how things are going to pan out in the future, when you add the Rumble into the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, I give the thing like a 6 out of 10. 6, maybe 7. If you take out the Rumble, or at least change the way things went down, maybe even change the winner, it easily could have grabbed like an 8 or 9. Especially with the end, with the title match, which was great. But overall, yeah, like a 6 or 7. Really, that ending and the way things went, and the fact that like not even The Rock could save Roman from boos, really brought the mood down, and it made me not want to watch. Like, I have no interest in watching anything, because you kind of, everything now is super predictable, and no matter what kind of swerve they hit you with, it won't make any sense. But whatever. Until next time, peace.